Hi everyone, it's Ryan here from smartsportstrader.com, and in today's video I want to talk about how to deal with losing periods in sports betting and trading, and also how to deal with mistakes which cost you money. So this is something that's probably not talked about enough in the sports betting industry and in sports trading, but it's something that's really important, especially if you want to kind of progress as a bettor or a trader and make money long term. You have to be able to deal with losing periods, and there's going to be times when you make mistakes. I've been doing this for about 10 years and I still make mistakes, and I made a pretty big one a couple of days ago, and I'll explain what that mistake was later on. And in this video I just wanted to talk about kind of a few tips that help me deal with losing periods and help me kind of stop chasing losses or getting angry about things. People do tend to kind of go on a rage sometimes when they start losing money in betting. It's probably one of the biggest problems is not having the discipline to kind of accept losses and just accept that it's part of the process and move on. So this video will tackle these issues really, and I think it'll be a really good one. So a few days ago I was trading the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace game, and I was trying to put a lay bet on Aubameyang in the first goal scorer market at 4.8. So I did this, I put in a £200 lay bet at 4.8, and my plan was just to snag a tick and put £200 at 4.9, and that would leave me with basically a risk-free profit if Aubameyang scored of £20. So this is something that I do quite a bit, and over a year it does add up. But as I was doing this trade, my son came in and asked me if I wanted to play a game with him, his sister and his mum, and I'm always telling them, to get off their Xbox, stop watching YouTube, get off their iPad, let's do something else. So I thought I should go and play with them. So my plan was to just check back every 15 minutes and make sure that if my Aubameyang lay had been matched, that I'd put in a back bet and just make sure before 8 o'clock it was all done and dusted. But I started playing this game with my son and my wife and my daughter, and basically the boys teamed up against the girls, and I just got really into this game that we were playing, and I just completely forgot about the trade. It was really stupid, really. So I realised at about 8 that I had this trade going after we'd finished this game, and the boys won, the boys teamed up, and we beat my wife and my daughter, so suck on that. But anyway, I came back at 8 and I saw the game had started, the market's been suspended, the first goal scorer market, and the Arsenal were 1-0 up. So I checked on flash scores, and Aubameyang had scored the first goal after 8 minutes. So I went and checked on my profit and loss, and there was a big whack in, minus £760 loss, which it absolutely sucked, but it's just one of those things that does happen sometimes. Okay, so tip number one for dealing with losing periods or big mistakes like the one I just outlined is that your betting bankroll or your trading bankroll should be completely separate to your living expenses and what you need for day-to-day life. So they should be completely separate. So if I had lost that £760 and I was planning to use that to pay my mortgage for the month, I've no doubt that would have absolutely crushed me. But because it's money that I just set aside for betting, and I know it's there for betting and trading, it's good. Sometimes you're going to lose, and you've kind of already accepted that. So that is one really massive tip, which you should really already be doing if you're wanting to take your betting or your trading seriously at all. But it's just one that's worth hammering home, and that is, keep it completely separate to what you need for everything else. So the second tip would be to take some time off. So turn off your computer or put your phone down, whatever you use for your betting, and just get away from things for a while. If you've been dealing with a long losing period, maybe you've got a winning strategy, but it's just going through a really bad patch of variance, and you've been losing money on it for 1 or 2 months. That is something that does happen. I have value betting strategies that I know work long term, but for example, I've got one value betting strategy which is down about £2,000 in the last 2 months, and then I just showing you a really stupid mistake that I made. I'll admit, when I came back to my computer and saw that minus £760 loss on Aubameyang, I was feeling really, really annoyed with myself and angry for at least 15 minutes, and then I started to feel unlucky, thinking about, there'd only been 10 minutes played in the game, and Arsenal had managed to score a goal early, and it happened to be Aubameyang. So, you'll go through all of these thoughts, and you just need to take some time away and rationalise things, because on the flip side, that bet could have won and I would have had an extra £200 in my account. It just happened to lose. But at the end of the day, nothing else has changed. It's just numbers on a screen that have changed. The rest of my life is pretty much the same. So that's the way that I try and rationalise things. And I just think, stepping away and just taking a little bit of time to kind of rationalise everything is a really, really good tip. Okay, so tip number 3, and this applies more to mistakes than losing periods, but that's to learn from them. If you make a mistake, learn from it and try and implement a strategy to stop it happening again. So for example, with the Aubameyang trade, when my son came and asked me, do you want to play this game? I could have easily set a timer on my phone, set an alarm on my phone for 10 minutes before the game started, as a reminder. And if I'd done that, then that would have stopped that loss happening. I would have traded out before the game started for either it would have been break even or a very small loss, I imagine. But there's a lot of other things that you can think about with Betfair going down. Betfair, they have quite a lot of outages, and if you are trading on Betfair and it goes down and you don't have enough money in other exchanges to cover your positions, that's a big mistake that could cost you a lot of money. If your internet goes down and you don't have a backup internet like a Wi-Fi device, mobile Wi-Fi device, again, if you're trading the horses or you're someone that's putting a lot of money through the pre-match markets, it's going to cost you. So yeah, whenever we make mistakes, it's important to learn from them so that we don't do it again. So tip number 4 is to take a look at how you're doing over the long term. So if you're going through a losing period, you might have been losing for a month or two, you might have even just had a few rough days where you've lost money. Something that I like to do that just helps psychologically is to take a step back and look at things over a longer period of time. So I'll bring up my graphs for the year and I'll see how I've been doing this year. And that'll just remind myself that, I don't suck at betting and trading, and I'm actually pretty good and I can make money long term. And it's just a nice reminder. So yeah, for me, psychologically, that's a big one. If I ever go through, a month where I'm losing or a few weeks or I'm just having a losing period and I'm starting to feel kind of a bit annoyed with things, I just take a step back, have a look at my longer term results and just remind myself, that the process is good and that I'll keep making money as long as I keep doing the same things. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got some value out of it, and if you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, as this allows me to keep making content related to making money from the sports betting markets. And I just wanted to show people in this video that we'll all go through losing periods at some point, and it's something that you have to deal with, and it's something that you should prepare yourself for if you haven't already. And it's likely you're going to make a mistake as well if you bet for long enough. There's going to be a time when something happens. It might be your fault, it might not be your fault, but there'll probably be a mistake that happens, and sometimes it will go for you and you'll get lucky and you'll profit from it. But other times, like in my example, you will lose money, and it's just something that you have to kind of accept is a possibility. And when it does happen, hopefully, the few tips that I put forward will help you deal with it if it does happen, and stop you chasing that loss and going on tilt and losing more money than you should do. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. See ya.